I've never been as happy as right now, but shit, I gotta cope with the fact that it dies down. Cause in the end, I just wake up salty, start my day with a pot of black coffee.
It's finally that time of the year, the summer. Y'all know what that means. Warm weather, road trips, and Steam Summer Sale, baby. Yeah, let's go! I was able to grab the Pixel Remasters for Final Fantasy 1 through 6 for a decent price, and my goal, even though the sale's been over for a little bit, is to give my thoughts on these games so when the next sale comes around, you can make an informed decision on if you want to pick these games up or not. I also wanted to try a bit of a different style with these reviews that flow more like a playthrough rather than a traditional review, so likely these reviews won't be done by the end of the summer, but I'll try to get these on Fridays during the summer, or just a little bit after. Before we get started, this is very much inspired by the I Have to Beat series by the beloved Mega Man fan Power Guy. Check his stuff out when you get a chance, it's pretty good. How can you say no to a thumbnail like this? But without further delay, let's look at the Final Fantasy that started it all. The Final Fantasy that started a lot of Final Fantasies. Final Fantasy 1. Welcome to the summer of Final Fantasy. Before we can get started, we gotta make our characters, and I feel it'd be a disservice not to go with the 4 default classes. I've read online that the monk is pretty OP, but it should be fine. After all, surely the developers made sure different ways to play are valid, except for, I guess, 4 white mages. As for the names, I just googled if there were canon names for the Warriors of Light. Surely Reddit wouldn't lie to me. We begin with the world falling into chaos. The wind, water, earth, I guess also the fire, are all in ruin. The people having faith in the prophecy that 4 warriors will bring light to banish the darkness that veils the world with their 4 crystals. This is basically the beginning of the trope that less creative devs always borrow from.
Gee, in epic RPG we have to collect 4 treasures of the elements. I've never heard that one before.
So anyway, we roll into the castle and I am immediately enamored by the ability to change which sprite is walking around. Most of this footage is going to use the white mage because I love their outfit. We speak to the king and show off our crystals and are given the task to rescue the Princess Sarah from the Chaos Shrine and her captor, the formerly heroic knight Garland. Check out the castle town, gather up some gear, then we walk out to make our way to the Chaos Shrine. Oh, guess this is a good time to experience our first battle. The system in Final Fantasy 1 is quite easy to learn. Pick your actions and targets, and you and your enemies attack, then rinse and repeat until the fight is over. The hit system seems like the game's way to show damage variance your characters will experience, but we'll get more into that when we get some more magic. That will be very important later on. You may also notice that there's just HP for each character. This game does have an MP system for magic-based characters like the mages, but it does take a more traditional tabletop RPG style of spells, having levels for spell slots and a limited amount of times you can cast them before having to restore MP. This can be done through items, but you can also rest at an inn to fully heal the party and restore their spells. However, this does not revive party members, so you'll either have to use a Phoenix down beforehand or pay to resurrect them at the nearest chapel. You can't have every skill on a party member since they get 3 spaces per level, so this works well to balance how many good spells you will get through the course of the game. Alright, that was a good first battle, I guess we'll keep going. Well, I guess this is a good experience at least. Okay, back to the... Oh, come on. The nice thing about this remaster is the ability to toggle random encounters on or off. Nice for challenge runs and because the encounter rate is a little brutal. But I can take the experience in Gil right now to get more gear. We make it to the shrine and face down Garland. Well, he's really easy. So I guess we did it. We beat the bad guy, saved the princess, and everything is going our way. So now the actual quest begins, and we're tasked with using our crystals to travel the world and restore light to the 4 elemental crystals. These crystals now under the control of 4 different fiends. The princess gives us a loot that probably will be relevant later, and the kingdom repays our bravery by fixing a bridge and sending us on our way. After that neat little text scroll, we explore the land opened up to us and going to take the time to appreciate the style of this game. I like that the Pixel Remasters all have a unified art style to match the 16-bit style of the Super Nintendo Final Fantasy games. While I may be fond of some of the original 8-bit NES sprites, I like this a bit more, and some of the creatures better capture the illustrations done by Yoshitaka Amano. On top of that, the music arrangements are amazing. They capture the retro feel when someone thinks of this game from their childhood, but updated to fit a unified sound font. The game also gives you the option to change it to the original music in the settings if you'd like to customize your experience a little bit. I personally played through with the new arrangements, but I'm a sucker for retro game music and love these tracks too. Pretty good chance you'd hear me jamming to these on an iPod. We find Monkey D. Luffy and his crew terrorizing the people of a nearby town. We kick their straw hat asses and steal their ship to go find the One Piece. But we also find Matoya, a witch who had her crystal eye stolen. I'll just be adding that to the list of things we need to do. Keep sailing, find a society of dwarves needing help digging a hole, so we go to the castle to get nitro powder, but it's locked. I asked the local prostitute strategy guide where to go, leading to an elf village and a prince in a never-ending coma. So we are sent to kick the ass of the king of the dark elves, and I'm sure this isn't going to create more conflict than necessary. After a lot of being poisoned in a tiny dungeon and having to backtrack for supplies, because God forbid I don't get poisoned at least once in an encounter, we easily take down a bunch of Pisco demons with Thundara and obtain a crown. I'm sure this will also be important later. Still need to find that key, so I guess we'll just come back to the loot here later. And after definitely not forgetting where I need to go, I make it over to the Western Keep. I love that all these bats have the same dialogue, it's kinda silly. Time for the next boss, Astos, and I'm assuming this may be because I'm a bit overleveled, but he died pretty quickly in just about 4 turns. Would have been faster if I didn't get blinded turn 1. Now that we have the eye back, we can backtrack this entire fetch quest. Thank you, heroes. Take this G Fuel. Really will put a pep in your step. I feel so refreshed from this G Fuel after my years-long coma. Take this magic key that opens pretty much every door. Then we go and backtrack for the gear, get the nitro powder. Check this out, check this out. I'm gonna blow up part of the continent to make a Panama Canal. Wait, what? Now we have a lot more of the world map opened up to us. If there's a port for our ship, we can go there. I guess this would be the best place to start. Oh, what happened here? Whoa. Please, restore the crystal to its former glory. Sure, pal, whatever that means. We talk to the townsfolk and are told a vampire attacked the city and that the earth is being poisoned, needing us to find the earth crystal and restore the land. We search around and find the game's first major dungeon, the Cavern of Earth. We really start getting the hang of using the Black Mage to help wipe out larger encounters. If Warrior and Thief can't one-tap them, the spread damage can weaken them enough for the White Mage to take it out with mixed results. Sure are a lot of bats in here. Hopefully none of them are vampire bats.
What is a man? A miserable little pile of secrets!
This fight was comically easy since the White Mage has Diarra, killing him on the first turn, and he was guarding a rock. Well, like Rick Harrison, I got a guy for that. We go to this other cave I found, give this golem the rock, letting us pass to the other side of the cave and obtain some new gear and reach stairs leading to another cave, where Sage gives us a stick to poke a plaque and progress deeper where we find the Earth Crystal and reach the next major boss. Foolish mortals, I am the Lich. I have lived for eons with my undead magic and ah! Yeah, pro tip buddy, don't tell me that you're undead when I have magic that handles that. Alright, 1 crystal down, 3 more to go. We sail for a bit before finding the next important town where I definitely noticed this path leading to a circle of sages and Lucan. I remember you. You're the guy that one guy mentioned at the beginning talking about the prophecy. After a little lore dump about the cycle and how the warriors of the prophecy are supposed to restore the light to the crystals and break the cycle, not really sure what they meant by past and present. I'm sure that's not really important. We get told to head to Mount Gulg to restore the fire crystal and are given a canoe for traveling waters that the boat can't fit into. But these passages are a bit confusing. I don't think I'm supposed to be here yet. Okay, I made my way to the mountain, or I guess volcano. It seems like this may be a mistranslation, but whatever. The floor here is literally lava, which can be kind of annoying dealing damage, but like I said, we're overleveled, so it should be fine. We explore a bit, find an ancient copper dragon, and make our way to the next fiend. She isn't super interesting, plus this ice sword is putting in the work. Just ignore that, it's fine. We restore the fire crystal and head back to that ice cavern. Oh, this crystal looks pretty. Let's try this again. Okay, time to grab... Oh shit, it's Evil Eye from the hit anime Dandadan, and he died in 2 hits. We take this rock, and I definitely did not have to look at a guide to know where this was in the desert. Sweet, an airship! If only our pal Sid was here. Now we can go just about anywhere on the map, even finding dinosaurs now. Poggers. I keep exploring, ending up at this castle, citadel, alright. The crown is finally useful, giving us access to go through the teleporter maze, netting us some loot in a rat's tail? At least now we're seeing new enemy variants along the way. I get it's a remaster of an NES game, but it's literally the regular show bit.
No, there aren't. They're all just the same with different costumes.
I guess we can check out these holes in these small islands and— whoa, dragons! We meet Bahamut and show him our rat's tail. You got balls, kid. I don't see many humans who can handle a teleporter maze. Here's some master seals, go get a class change. But now our classes have changed to Knight, Ninja, White Wiz— I'm not gonna say that, and I'm not gonna take my chances on the other one, so they're still mages. Now we're ready to keep kicking evil's ass. And now we gotta do another fetch quest. Hooray. There's literally zero indication of this being here on the map. But whatever, we get the ferry, we free it in this other town, get the oxyale to breathe underwater, take the Ocean Gate submarine to the next dungeon, find the mermaids and help them out, and time to take on the Kraken, who's even easier than the last one, dying in 3 turns. I read online people considering him the hardest of the main 4 dungeon bosses, but maybe I'm just a little too powerful for this. I'm sure glad I didn't forget a key story item in this dungeon. We check out this waterfall and find a little robot dude who gives us a cube, and I'm stuck again. Thank God I can turn off random encounters for this. I look up where I'm supposed to go, backtrack through the shrine, get the Rosetta Stone, and talk to this guy to learn to speak Lutherian. With that, we can now head to the last major town and find these people who came from a sky civilization where the wind crystal resides under Tiamat's control. And yo, Sid mentioned, alright, cool, 10 out of 10, best game, love it. They give us a bell and we head back to this cool desert tower, then we can finally use the cube we were given to reach the last crystal dungeon, the Flying Fortress. This place looks pretty cool out of all the other dungeons, even if the layouts are kind of bland, but this is, again, an NES game that's remastered. We breeze through, get it? We kill Tiamat and restore the last crystal, looking back down to see the 4 crystals point back to the Chaos Shrine where we began. Before we head back though, I went for 100% in my playthrough, so I had a few things left to do. I went and got the best gear and spells money could buy, even forging Excalibur. But before that, I returned to the fortress in search of the series' first ever super boss, the War Mech. He only shows up here, and I think it's a 1% encounter rate, but this took me nearly 40 minutes to get him to spawn. It wasn't a terribly hard fight, but his raw stats made him pretty scary. He has like 70 more strength than Tiamat has, but otherwise his health is on par with the other bosses, so he's more of an honorary super boss than a real super boss. After getting that in order and buying as many healing items as they'd let me buy, we returned to the Chaos Shrine and touched the Darkness Crystal, stepping back 2,000 years into the past. I guess they weren't kidding, since the dungeon is rematches of stronger versions of the 4 Fiends of Chaos. They really aren't that much harder, but we do finally have a use for that loot that Sarah gave us. We make our way to Garland for the climactic final showdown. Fools! I wanted you to defeat me in the present so that I may be brought back in time by the 4 great forces. So then I sent the 4 Fiends to the future to ensure that I am sent here, completing my cycle of chaos that cannot be stopped. Here we are, the final battle with Chaos, and this is brutal. Even being over-leveled, I struggled. His attacks are so strong, even with raised defenses, and if he hastes, any single party member will get wiped if he goes for a single targeted attack. I died twice here. These were my only deaths in the entire run, happening right at the very end, but I wasn't gonna sit by. And I read a strategy since he kept healing when I'd take too long. The trick to Chaos is you basically can't let up on boosting your Knight and Ninja with Black Mage, while White Mage keeps the party's HP topped off, occasionally breaking from buffs to restore MP to the White Mage since I kept my elixirs. There were a few wrenches thrown in here when you'd kill a single party member, but if you're persistent enough and you realize that temper stacks at the last minute, you can actually defeat Chaos. It's finally over, the cycle has been destroyed, peace has been restored, even Garland gets a happy ending with no memory of the damage he caused. While our deeds may go unappreciated due to the end of the cycle, the real light is in our hearts. We truly are the bringers of light. Oh no! So that was the first Final Fantasy. It does have its flaws and shows its age with how its mechanics work, but this is a fine remaster. The characters aren't super fleshed out, but that is because it's made to mimic a tabletop RPG like Dungeons & Dragons, so your main characters are more self-inserts that you send on the quests laid out for you. It's a pretty short game too, taking me only 15 hours to 100% the game. I would definitely recommend picking it up when the bundle goes on sale again. $12 is a fine price for this game, but I think the full bundle being at $45 when it goes on Steam sale is a better bang for your buck, but we'll talk more about that when we cover the other Final Fantasies. This was a super fun review to work on. I'm sure I can get out a few of these before the summer ends. Maybe every 2 weeks we'll have an episode out, so it'll bleed into the fall, but this is just the start of the summer of Final Fantasy. So please like, comment, and subscribe, and I hope to see you next time when we cover Final Fantasy II.